based on a true story. The story begins with a housemaid named Remy who knocks on the door of her employer's room, but there is no answer. Feeling uneasy, she slowly opens the door and steps inside. Then she is shocked by what she sees. Her employer, a young woman named Aisha, is lying lifeless on the bed. Her neck is badly wounded, and her body is covered in blood. Not long after, the police arrive at the scene, led by an investigator named Malvad. During the crime scene investigation, they find several important clues. A strand of hair is caught between the victim's fingers, and a pen is found lying under the table. The investigation continues as the police question everyone living in the house. Remy is not just an ordinary housemaid. She is the person who has cared for Aisha and raised her since she was little. For the past 18 years, Remy has been her caretaker, almost like a constant figure in Aisha's life. Meanwhile, Artie, who is known as Aisha's biological mother, says that she works as a surgeon. On the night of the incident, Artie claims she was not at home because she was performing a long operation. She only returned at around 10:30 in the morning. The police also question Aisha's father, a doctor named Sachin. He says he came home from a hotel while slightly drunk. He arrived at the apartment around midnight, then went straight to sleep. The next person questioned is Kotela, the apartment's security guard. His statement reveals something suspicious. That night, he saw a man named Riaz enter the apartment at around 11 p.m. An hour later, Sachin arrived. Then about 15 minutes after that, Riaz was seen leaving the apartment with his arm wrapped in a bandage, and he appeared to be covered in blood. After hearing this, the police immediately go to Riaz's house, but he is nowhere to be found. According to his parents, Riaz often disappears without telling anyone. As the investigation continues, the police discover that Riaz was Aisha's boyfriend. Their relationship was not approved by Sachin, especially because of their different backgrounds. Besides the hair sample and the pen, the police also find a blood-stained shirt thrown into a trash bin in front of the apartment, and Riaz is not the only person they are looking for. Another name also enters the search list, Sitan, the male servant in the house who has been missing since the night of the murder. The autopsy later reveals that Aisha died at around 12:30 a.m. There are no signs of sexual assault. Forensic analysis confirms that the blood on the shirt belongs to Riaz. But the most shocking discovery is the strand of hair found between Aisha's fingers. It matches Sachin, her own father. Based on these pieces of evidence, the police arrest Sachin as the main suspect in the murder case. And just like that, the truth seems clear. This is Rahasya. In the courtroom, the atmosphere is tense as the prosecutor begins laying out the case. He firmly points to Sachin as the main perpetrator. 3 key pieces of evidence are presented to support the accusation. First, the scratch marks found on Sachin's body, believed to be from Aisha's attempt to fight back before she died. Second, the strand of hair found between the victim's fingers, which forensic analysis confirms belongs to Sachin. And third, a pen belonging to Sachin that was discovered at the crime scene. As for the blood-stained shirt that had drawn attention earlier, the prosecutor explains that the blood does indeed belong to Riaz. However, he argues that it was part of a staged setup, an attempt to shift suspicion and frame Riaz as the main suspect. The prosecutor then presents his version of what happened that night. According to him, Sachin came home drunk and found Riaz, a Muslim man, inside his daughter's room. Overcome with anger, he attacked Riaz, but Riaz managed to escape even though he was injured. Unable to control his rage, Sachin then turned his anger toward Aisha, leading to her tragic death. To cover his tracks, Sachin is believed to have disposed of his blood-stained clothes. He is also suspected of paying a servant named Sitan to disappear, diverting public attention and creating the impression that Sitan could be the real killer. On the other hand, Sachin is unable to present a convincing defense. He has a strange habit. Whenever he gets drunk, he often loses memory of what happened. That night, he claims he remembers nothing at all. Even so, he insists that he is innocent. In his mind, it is impossible that he would ever take the life of his own daughter, the child he loves the most. But without enough evidence to challenge the accusations, Sachin is ultimately found guilty and sent to prison. Artie later visits her husband in jail. Filled with hope, Sachin begs her to reopen the case. He remains firm that he is not their daughter's killer. Artie agrees and decides to seek help from the CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, which handles major criminal cases. The case is then assigned to an officer named Sunil Paraskar, a highly respected investigator known for his intelligence and strong integrity. During his first meeting with Sachin, Sunil points out a critical inconsistency. The wound on the victim's neck appears clean and precise. something that is difficult to associate with an act committed by someone who was heavily intoxicated. When Sunil revisits the crime scene, he begins to uncover new findings.
घर कैसा लगा परवेश?
सॉलिड है सर.
He discovers a surgical knife that has been carefully cleaned, as if someone tried to erase all traces. He also finds a torn white shirt hidden inside a closet. In addition, there is a rubber object that appears to have been used to strike the victim, causing a fatal injury to her head. Another suspicious detail comes from Kotella's testimony. He admits that every night he has a habit of falling asleep shortly after 1:30 a.m. and does not wake up until around 5 in the morning. That creates a window of time where anyone could move around unnoticed. Sunil Paraskar is not only known for his sharp instincts, but also for a small personal habit. He often chews peanuts while working through a case. As he digs deeper into the investigation, he follows a lead that points to a married couple, Hansal and Brinda. Brinda is a television actress and model, while Hansal works as a doctor. Sunil's suspicion grows after he discovers call records showing that Brinda contacted Sachin's phone 45 times. The number is far from normal. From a hotel staff member, Sunil learns that on August 28th, Hansal was seen in the hotel lobby. He had been quietly watching his wife, suspecting that she was having an affair. While waiting, he unexpectedly witnessed an argument between Sachin and Riaz.
Hell are you doing with this guy? Didn't I tell you this? What? You just leave.
It turns out that Sachin had followed Riaz after seeing him take Aisha to a hotel. But instead of getting involved, Hansal chose to leave after witnessing the confrontation. Meanwhile, Sachin went up to a room to meet Brinda. There is another important detail. Hansal's apartment directly faces Sachin's apartment. From there, Hansal was able to notice when Riaz came to visit Aisha, which explains why he quickly informed Sachin that night, leading to his sudden return home. After hearing Sunil's explanation, Hansal becomes visibly uneasy. At one point, he even tries to bribe Sunil to keep their involvement from reaching the media, fearing it would destroy his family's reputation. But Sunil, staying true to his principles, firmly rejects the offer. The investigation continues to move forward. Sunil returns to speak with Remy once again. This time she reveals that she spent far more time with Aisha than her own mother ever did, mainly because Artie was always busy with her work. That same night, Remy recalls hearing loud noises coming from upstairs, like someone moving heavy furniture. This stands out because the servants' quarters are located on the ground floor, far from the master bedrooms above. Sunil then questions Artie once again. From her statement, only 3 people have keys to the house: herself, Sachin, and Remy. She also insists that she had no knowledge of Aisha's relationship with Riaz. But Sunil does not stop there. He takes things further by detaining and interrogating Riaz's friends. Using more aggressive methods, he uncovers new information. Riaz is known to have a volatile temper. At one point, he even tried to convince Aisha to run away with him and had threatened to kill her if she refused. To track down more leads, Sunil asks his partner Parkesh to keep an eye on Sudhakar, Seaton's cousin. Sitan, the missing servant, has not been seen since the night of the murder. During surveillance, they discover Sudhakar delivering food to a hidden location, a cave known as Kanri Cave. But during the operation, 2 unknown men suddenly appear and attack Sunil. He is stabbed in the back. Despite trying to chase them, the attackers manage to escape, leaving Sunil injured. Sunil and Parkesh then take a sample of the food Sudhakar was carrying. After examining it and even tasting it, they realize it is beef. They suspect the food was meant for Riaz, who is hiding somewhere nearby. However, when they move in to arrest Sudhakar, they find him dead beside a railway track, as if someone silenced him before he could say anything. Not long after that, Sunil and Parkesh manage to locate Riaz at a hidden spot. Right after finishing his prayer, Sunil attempts to arrest him. But Riaz pulls out a gun, shoots Parkesh, and escapes. A chase follows immediately. Sunil comes close to catching him, but at a critical moment, an unknown person fires a shot toward them. The bullet creates just enough distraction for Riaz to escape once again. Sometime later, Riaz is found dead in a different location, with gunshot wounds on his body. Hidden in his clothes, the police find a knife and a small notebook filled with emotional writings, revealing how deeply he cared for Aisha. The investigation then returns to Sachin's apartment. There, Sunil and Parkesh notice something unusual. Sitan's shoes and personal belongings are still there, untouched. Nothing appears to have been taken. This raises a serious question. If he really ran away, why would he leave everything behind? Sunil then recalls what Remy said about the strange noises that night, the sound of furniture being moved. That detail leads him to take a closer look. As he shifts a table, he notices a section of the floor that feels different. When it is opened, a horrifying discovery is revealed. Hidden beneath the floor is Sitan's body. He lies lifeless, with a wound on his neck that is identical to the one found on Aisha. The next day, Brinda hires a lawyer to file an appeal for Dr. Sachin. Her decision is not without reason. It is revealed that she has been having an affair with him, and she is willing to do anything to save the man she loves. During the appeal trial, Sachin's lawyer begins to reconstruct the events of that night. He does not deny that there was an argument between Sachin and Aisha. The confrontation turned physical, which explains the scratch marks on Sachin's body and the strand of his hair found in Aisha's hand. However, he argues that this was not the end of the story. He suggests the presence of a third person who may have witnessed the argument and taken advantage of the situation to commit the murder. The discovery of Sitan's hidden body strengthens the claim that someone else was involved. He also highlights a critical inconsistency. The wound on Aisha's neck is clean and precise, something that does not match the actions of someone who was heavily intoxicated like Sachin that night. After reviewing all the arguments and new evidence, the judge finally delivers the verdict. Sachin is declared not guilty, but his freedom marks the beginning of another painful chapter. Not long after his release, Sachin files for divorce from Arti. He chooses to be with Brinda, the woman who stood by him and loved him in secret. The decision hits Arti hard. Her disappointment and anger begin to build. As the investigation continues, Sunil visits Sachin's parents to gather more information. During the meeting, Sachin's father warns him to be cautious around Remy. According to him, the family's mate is not someone to be underestimated and may even be dangerous. This warning deepens Sunil's suspicion. He brings Remy in for further questioning and even conducts a medical examination. The results reveal something unexpected. Remy is no longer a virgin and has at some point given birth to a child. This clearly contradicts the life she has been presenting. To verify this, Sunil goes to Remy's parents' house. There he meets her mother, who is suffering from Alzheimer's disease. From her words, he learns that Remy has not visited home for a long time because she was forbidden by her husband. That revelation shocks Sunil. A husband. Remy has never been known to have one. This raises a question. Is it simply confusion caused by her mother's condition, or is it a crucial clue that has been hidden all along? After deciding to divorce Arti, Sachin moves into a hotel with Brinda. Meanwhile, after meeting Remy's mother, Sunil finally begins to understand who is truly behind the entire chain of murders. Without wasting any time, he calls Parkesh to confirm Sachin's location. He believes that Sachin's life is now in danger. Parkesh informs him that Sachin is staying at the Meridian Hotel. Sunil rushes there immediately, but he arrives too late. Sachin is found dead inside his hotel room, with deep cuts on his wrists. The case is ruled as a suicide. The room is locked from the inside, and no fingerprints are found at the scene. The next day, Sunil gathers everyone involved at Sachin's apartment. One by one, the pieces of the puzzle begin to fall into place, until he finally reveals the truth that has been hidden all along. That night, after receiving a call from Hansel, Sachin returns home in a drunken state and finds Riaz with Aisha. Overcome with anger, he grabs a surgical knife and injures Riaz. As he tries to continue the attack, Aisha steps in to stop him, but Sachin pushes her and she fights back, scratching his body. In a moment of panic, Aisha grabs a rubber object and strikes Sachin on the head, knocking him unconscious. The pen found at the crime scene falls during the struggle. After confirming that her father is still alive, Aisha tears a piece of cloth to bandage Riaz's wound. Together, they move Sachin's body into the room and clean the blood off the surgical knife. But then Sunil reveals a hidden truth. Remy once had an affair with Sachin, and from that relationship, a child was born. Because Arti was unable to have children, Sachin suggested adoption without telling her the truth. The child they adopted was actually the result of his relationship with Remy. That child is Aisha herself. Remy was later hired as a caretaker so she could stay close to her own daughter. This secret remained hidden for years, until Sachin's father eventually found out. That is why he warned that Remy was not someone to be taken lightly. However, the biggest truth comes from Arti. After discovering that Aisha was the result of her husband's affair with Remy, her hatred reached its peak. That night, Arti secretly returned to the apartment, unnoticed by the sleeping guard. She found Sachin unconscious after the struggle with Aisha and Riaz. Seeing the opportunity, Arti takes the surgical knife and ends Aisha's life in her own room. As a trained surgeon, she carries it out with precision. That is why the wound on Aisha's neck appears so clean and controlled. This was not a crime driven by sudden anger, but by a long, buried desire for revenge. At the beginning of the story, Artie claims that she was working late, performing surgery on a patient. But as the investigation continues, that alibi falls apart. There was no surgery scheduled under her name that night. This becomes a crucial clue that points directly to her. On the night of the murder, when Artie takes Aisha's life, she is unexpectedly witnessed by Sitan. To silence him, Artie pays him a large sum of money and asks him to help bury Aisha's body beneath the floor. But once the plan is set in motion, Artie turns on him. She kills Sitan in the same way, cutting his throat, then buries his body in the same place to eliminate the witness. The floor is sealed again and covered with furniture, which explains the dragging sounds Remy heard from downstairs that night. After everything is done, Artie leaves the apartment unnoticed, taking advantage of Cotella, the guard, who is asleep. At the same time, Remy, who does not want Sachin, the man she once had a relationship with, to be blamed, secretly throws away his shirt stained with Riaz's blood into a trash bin outside the apartment. She has no idea that her actions only make the investigation more complicated. But Artie is not finished yet. She is also the one behind Sachin's death at the hotel. Using the excuse of bringing divorce papers, she easily gains access to his room. There, she kills him and stages the scene to look like a suicide. For someone with medical knowledge like hers, it is not difficult. Now everything becomes clear. Artie is the mastermind behind it all. Her motive is rooted in deep resentment after discovering she had been deceived by her husband and betrayed by her own maid, Remy. However, one question still remains. If Artie is behind everything, then who killed Sudhakar and Riaz? It turns out that the one who killed Riaz is Malvadi, the very police officer who had been handling the case from the beginning. Behind his uniform, he is nothing more than a pawn controlled by Artie in exchange for money. It all begins when Riaz learns that Aisha has been killed. He contacts Malvad and accuses Sachin of being responsible. He even plans to take revenge by killing Sachin himself. But Malvad manipulates him. He convinces Riaz to go into hiding, claiming that if Sachin walks free, Riaz would be framed as the culprit. Riaz believes him and hides in a cave, not realizing he is being set up. Malvad arranges for Sudhakar to deliver food to the hiding place. When Sunil and Parkesh begin to close in and grow suspicious of the location, Malvad steps in directly. At the cave, he and Riaz attack Sunil from behind, stabbing him because he is getting too close to the truth. It does not stop there. Malvad kills Sudhakar by pushing him off a moving train to erase any evidence. In the end, Riaz also becomes a victim. He is shot by Malvad to ensure that the truth never comes out. The entire mystery is finally unraveled because of one small detail that almost goes unnoticed. Sunil's visit to Remy's mother, who suffers from Alzheimer's. There, he sees an old photograph of Remy when she was 18. Her face looks strikingly similar to Aisha. That is when the final piece falls into place. Sunil realizes that Aisha is not Artie's biological child, but the daughter of Sachin and Remy from their secret affair. Without hesitation, Sunil orders Artie's arrest. She is taken into custody, but before she leaves, she turns to look at Remy and gives a faint smile. A smile filled with satisfaction as Remy breaks down in tears. It is a cold ending. The truth is finally revealed, but the wounds left behind will never truly heal. And that is where the story ends. So the moral of the story is, if your family tree needs a detective, 3 autopsies, 2 secret affairs, a hidden body under the floor, and a corrupt cop to explain it, Family Game Night is probably canceled forever.